Okay, good morning everybody. You know when they say walk the talk, I'm literally walking the talk. Yesterday I talked about unemployment and GDP. Today I would like to focus on the GDP. You know how I said the GDP measures the gross domestic production of final goods and services in an economy in a certain time. Okay, now you know that. Now how to make this number relevant and meaningful? Economists used certain tricks. The first trick is to divide it by the population. If you divide the GDP of a country by the population of that country, you would get the GDP per capita. And usually the country with a higher GDP per capita has higher standards of living. Okay, that's the first trick. The second trick, now, as I said yesterday, a GDP growth is a desired output, but sometimes the GDP growth is fake. Sometimes it's inflated by inflation. Let's say if a country produces 10 apples and each apple sell for $1. Next year, the prices of apple for some reason went to $2 and the country is still producing 10 apples. The GDP, the nominal GDP would double while the actual output hasn't changed, right? So economists, what they do, they use real GDP, which is the nominal GDP adjusted for inflation. Okay, if you look up any country's GDP in Google, the answer would be in nominal GDP. Okay, to get the real GDP, the economists, what they do is they use the prices of base year and compare the GDP accordingly, and that would give them the real change of output of that economy. The third trick is to adjust for the prices level of a country. Let's say that in Mexico they produce 10 apples, and in the US they produce also 10 apples, but in Mexico each apple sells for a quarter. Okay, while in the USA each apple sells for $1. Now the GDP of Mexico would be $2.5, while the GDP of the US would be $10, even though they produce the same amount of the same product. To adjust for that, economists, they use what they call GDP PPP, purchasing power parity. And if you use that measure, you would find that China has the highest GDP PPP. Okay, I think I'm done for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you benefited from this video. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow, inshallah.